सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Hey everyone, good morning. I want to start this shorty with thanking everyone who showed up to the step workshop this weekend. I found it to be very, very clarifying. I found it to be deep, and I found it to be beneficial. And I'm really praying and hoping that, judging from your feedback, you found the same. And for all who couldn't come and will be waiting for those recordings, please hold on to your seats. It's coming. Just wanted to give you a reminder that this is ongoing, seasonal. The summer were the first 3 steps, and next summer we'll end with the last 3 steps. And in between, the fall and the winter, we'll be doing the steps in between. 3 steps every season. And within 1 year, you'll be doing all of those steps. So I'm hoping to see everyone who joined the first 3 steps. If you haven't joined the first 3 steps, you still can get access to that for the next 6 weeks. All you got to do is go to bhaktirecoverygroup.com, click on events, and it will be the first thing you see. All you got to do is click there, and it's all donation based. And you too can have access to the Bhakti Recovery Group steps. We have different steps than we do in AA or NA. We have a steps through the Bhakti lens, through the Gita lens, and it's quite eye-opening. We concentrate a lot on anarthas, and all kinds of associated behaviors. All right. I wanted to kind of share a little bit about where I'm at. Sometimes I get into this thing where I feel like I have to say something inspiring. I have to do this. I have to do that. And you know what? I don't. And I'm saying that out loud. I have to be authentic. I don't have to do anything, actually. But I'd like to be just who I am and where I'm at and share that. Because that's what this is about. This isn't about, working a program, quote unquote. Working a Bhakti recovery program. It's not about saying I'm healed and these are the things, A, B, C, D, and listing off the things of why I'm healed. It's about saying, okay, in areas I've made amazing progress, but I'm still in the age of Kali Yuga. I'm still affected by the 3 modes of material nature. And I'm still a recovering person. And this is something that I love about the program. And, I'm sure there are people who are very senior devotees who have a lot of wisdom. And I love that. However, I am somebody who really would like to be able to just talk with somebody. Just talk. Not only as a senior, but also as a peer. And I need that possibility. So right now I'm talking to the phone. But there's something very powerful about saying what I'm feeling out loud. saying what's affecting me out loud. Now, let me get to the point. I'm struggling with attachments at the moment. I'm struggling with change at the moment. My attachments. And I have to say, my attachment to this place where I live is not a negative attachment. It is an attachment. However, it is an attachment. I am attached. Look, I know. I'm not saying being attached to the nature is a bad thing. I'm just saying it makes me less flexible to move within the material world with a spiritual mind. I have decided to move to Berlin, right in the city. As you hear, the river is roaring. I think you probably can hear it. The river is roaring right now. It's been raining nonstop for 2 weeks everywhere in Germany. But as I'm speaking, I'm seeing how beautiful this place is and how much I love it here. I'm starting to get choked up, people. Now, I'm not trying to get up on the cross. And I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me. What am I? I'm so whatever. But I've sacrificed this to move into the inner city to try to get the message of recovery to people in need. That's the decision I made. And there are times where I feel like, oh my God, have I made the right decision? Have I sacrificed my own self for this? My own peace of mind, my own sanity, my own pleasure, which helps me help others. By coming down here, this is my backyard, basically. I just have to walk 10 minutes and I'm down here. And so here's the double-edged sword. The double-edged sword is this. I decided in loving service to live the 12th step. The 12th step says, after having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others who still suffer and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. And that's my dharmic calling, and that's what I've been doing for years, and that's what I want to continue doing. But ever since COVID, it's become an online thing. And so I can actually do that from anywhere. However, I'm isolated. It's a beautiful walk every day, but I'm seriously isolated. Don't have any community here in Munich. It's not really just by choice. It's just the way it's worked out. And I'm not saying that I've done everything that I can to get friends, but it's been an uphill road with that. And I don't, with the age, and I live somewhere where there's no public transportation, and many people in the city don't have cars, etc., etc., etc. Doesn't matter, but that's just the way it is. Berlin is a hub. Berlin, I could do so much work in Berlin. It's like Kensington, most parts of Berlin. Well, not most, some parts of Berlin. And I know that I can do a lot of work there. So I've decided to go. And I've taken into consideration that my daughter's there with my grandson. I've taken into consideration that my son, which I will get to later on in the podcast, another attachment. I'm not saying it's negative, but it's another attachment that I need to let go of, or that I'm finding very hard to let go of. He's moving out. It's a time now of letting go. It's not easy, people. every time I talk about my son, it's so difficult. He's a man. He's not my little boy. He's a man. So, anyway, where was I? Letting go, going to Berlin. Everything just sort of opened, the doors opened in Berlin. There was really no trouble getting an apartment there, which is nothing short of a miracle, because in Berlin it's almost impossible to get an apartment, let alone an affordable one. And I got both. So it seemed like the gods were on my side. But when I got there, of course, nothing went according to my plans. That was sort of something stones put in my path. Whatever. Actually, what I want to get to the point of now, I feel like I've talked a little too long. What I wanted to get to right now is just looking at the strong attachments that I have, putting them on the scale, and also looking at my own, if by doing this, am I neglecting my own needs? And by listening to my own needs in some areas, is that being selfish? Whew, here we go. Let's take this apart. I've made a decision, a conscious decision, to move to Berlin with a very clear understanding intellectually of what I'm doing. Emotionally, I've been sideswiped. I really thought that I was going to go there and everything was going to be fine. I could leave this behind, but I'm finding it a lot more difficult than I had expected. So I could just say, suck it up, buttercup, and just keep going. And I do when it's appropriate. But when I'm feeling sad, I don't want to bury it. And the reason why I don't want to bury it is because if I bury it, it will turn into something backwards. It'll come out somewhere else, and I don't need that in my life. I want to be thorough because I want to be clear, and I want to be okay with my decisions. Part of that process is working some steps over it. Part of that process is talking to others about it. Part of that process is going to meetings and showing up for others who are in maybe a similar situation. And part of that process is understanding where I stand in my own situation. So that's how it is right now. I don't have an answer. The answer is I'm working on it. The answer is I've done all of those things that we've just talked about, that I just stated. And I'm still feeling like this. I'm feeling very positive on one hand, but also very sad about letting go of the things that I've become used to here in Bavaria. Letting go of my son, who's going to stay here. I had hoped he was coming with me, but he wants to study here in Munich. So I need to respect that. He's a 19-year-old boy man. Letting go. He just graduated. You know, I think I'm starting to understand what it's like to be open and have feelings that are quite common. And then I have the opportunity to be able to hash through them and be responsible with them. So the one thing that I'm kind of stuck on, is the neglect of myself. That question sits in my stomach. That question sits in the pit of my stomach, which says to me that I need to look at it. neglecting my own sadhana, neglecting my own peace of mind, neglecting my own nature satisfaction. And so this is quite an opportunity at the moment to be able to figure out what that is. And I don't want to stay too long in that, because I think it will naturally come. If I let the feelings come, I will naturally get an answer, just only because I'm geared that way. And I've been working in programs so long that it's first nature. Actually, it's not even second nature anymore. It's first nature. And being able to look at that and kind of get through it. I'm powerless. I have faith that God will restore me to sanity. And I want to give my will and my life over to the care of God. Those are the first 3 steps. And I have the opportunity of working on that right now. Look, I'm powerless over the decision I already made. I've already made the decision. Everything is already in motion. The apartment here is already, the contract is already terminated. I've got a new contract. I've already paid thousands to get over, well, not me, my husband, to get to Berlin. Going back on that decision, at the moment, I cannot do that. It is not an option. Not that I would want to, I'm just saying we all have options. And actually, it is an option. I can just say, no, we have to try to find something here. But that's ridiculous. It's a place that I'm attached to. Even though it's beautiful, it's still a place. And there is a reason. I truly believe that there is a reason that that decision was super clear in my head. Now I have to let go of the attachment, even though it's a beautiful attachment. Nature is always, nature is something that helps my spirituality. It's not just an attachment to, I don't know, chewing pencils. I don't know why I thought of that, but, or whatever it is, small things, or attachment to my shoes, or a certain way of, if we're talking about places, like attachment to my chandelier, I don't know. It's something that's very beneficial. Nature. It's proven to help in every circumstance. So that's very clear to me. And then there's also even deeper than that. I can, being Krishna conscious, sticking close to the program, I don't have to have a place for that. I can be in a cave. I can be under a subway tunnel. It doesn't really matter. Really, in the end, it doesn't matter. And I know this intellectually, but emotionally, I'm having a hard time seeing it. But I do know that it's more than possible. It's probable. There are great meetings in Berlin. So many meetings. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on and on. I feel like I can stop. But there's always a solution and there's always hope. There are never bad decisions. There are only decisions. Sorry, I just got distracted because 2 bikes just rode by. There are only decisions to help with clarity, actually. There are only decisions to learn from. And I'm sure something wonderful is going to happen in Berlin. And hell, if I don't like it after a few years, I could leave. I'm not damned to live in Berlin my whole life. Maybe after a few years, I never want to leave. Who knows? So on that note, my friends, have a great week. Happy Monday. Keep doing the work. And know this, you're not alone. Know that you're not alone. If you're listening to this right now and you're struggling, at least you know I am. And I'm working a program and I'm praying my butt off. And I'm going to get through this and you're going to get through this. We're all going to get through this. We'll get through to the other side until the next thing that we have to grapple with. But if I stick close to God, it doesn't matter where I am, people. If I'm close to God, if I'm close to the divine, it can be divine and beautiful anywhere. Whether I'm kicking a trash can on the side of the street or kicking a stick or a rock in the woods. When it boils down to it, that's just the way it is. So hang in there, and I'll hang in there. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Haribol. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.